continuing from the previous episode 455. It was daytime, the hottest time of the day, not to mention that Xiao Yan and his party were still deep in the desert, and the temperature was even more terrifying. However, Xiao Yan and the others are not ordinary people. Even with such a scorching temperature, they insisted on gritting their teeth, which made Tang Tang have a good impression of Xiao Yan, the pharmacist. After all, most pharmacists are delicate and expensive. Few are as powerful as Xiao Yan. What Tang Tang didn't know was that, whether it was Xiao Yan, Xiao Yi, or Mu Yingying, they all possessed a fighting spirit of the fire attribute, so this kind of temperature was naturally a no-brainer. Xinya 81 Zhang Wei and Wang Wu, Kai 8.1 ZS, Koem among the snake people, a huge building hidden under the desert slowly stands. In the building, the whole body is dazzling, with layers of purple crystals paving the way, and an invisible pressure spreads out in an instant. Such invisible fluctuations, I am afraid that without the strength of the 7-star Do Emperor, they will be instantly crowded out by him. In the building, there is a huge space. In the space, below the horizon, 10 crystal seats slowly appear. The 10 crystal seats are in a circle that surrounds them. The purple throne stood slowly. On the crystal platform, some figures kept appearing. It's just that in the middle of the crystal seat, a statue of an upper body with a snake tail on the lower body is lifelike, like a living thing. The upper body of the statue is a portrait. Even if it is a statue, the upper body reveals a different kind of charm. The slightly tall chest has an attractive curve. With the water snake waist, this figure can be said to be close to perfect. In the eyes of the statue, there are a pair of pupils. The pupils are of a dead gray color, and there seems to be a wave of destruction. As for the statue's hair, it is divided into 10 strands, but each strand has a different color. Blue and white snake. Why did the Medusa snake order suddenly be issued? Did something big happen? Said a burly middle-aged man. His voice was like thunder, which instantly calmed the noisy palace. Don't be impatient, I will tell you when the angry winter comes. Since it's the Medusa snake order, then something big must have happened. The woman known as the blue and white snake said coldly, and she closed her eyes. As soon as he closed his eyes, blue and white snake felt a little helpless. This last leader had a great temper and ambition, and most importantly, his strength was even more terrifying, which gave blue and white snake quite a headache. The woman was wearing a green dress, and her delicate and translucent skin matched her natural elegance, so many people secretly praised her. The melon-like face added to the woman's charm. At the corners of the eyes, a very delicate purple snake was engraved, like a living thing, but I didn't know what it was used for. This woman is the commander of the Medusa Snake Guard, Blue and White Snake. A strong man with the strength of a 4-turn 9-star Do D. Medusa Snake Guard. This is the power above the 9 major tribes of the Medusa Clan. They manage the big and small matters of the Medusa Clan. In addition, the Medusa Snake Guard still owns Medusa, the most loyal servant of the blood snake people. Similar to what Xiao Yan and the others saw that day, a woman with the bloodline of the 3-colored swallowing python might not be inferior to the leader of any tribe in this Medusa Clan. As for Qing Lin, who possesses the power of the 9-colored swallowing python's bloodline, I am afraid that she will become the queen of the entire Medusa Clan in an instant. It's just that there are many people who object, but these are irrelevant. Qing Lin has already entered the temple. As long as he exits the customs, the blue and white snake will directly train him to become the real king of the Medusa Clan. Humph! Blue and white snake, is there something wrong with calling us so urgently? A snake man came to the door, and the snake man exuded a strange wave from top to bottom. The visitor's name is Nong Dong. He is a 9-star Do D level Chang Dong, and he is also a man who strongly opposes the 9-colored swallowing python to become king. Nong Dong's single strength is enough to rank in the top 5 among the 9 major tribes of the entire Medusa Clan. If there is no sudden appearance of the 9-colored swallowing python, I am afraid that Nong Dong is very likely to unify the entire Medusa Clan. However, the appearance of the 9-colored sky swallowing python made this angry winter's plan for many years to come to naught. Quiet. The blue and white snake saw that the angry winter was coming, and immediately opened its eyes slightly, and an invisible wave spread instantly. Humph! With the sound of the blue and white snake, Nong Dong came directly to his own seat and sat down heavily. Since the people have already arrived, then invite them up. The blue and white snake opened his mouth slightly, then turned his eyes to the side behind the crystal throne. The blue and white snake had just finished speaking, and the figures on the 10 crystal seats all turned their eyes slowly. Crackling. In the crystal palace as quiet as water, a slight voice slowly came from above the crystal throne. The next moment, 3 figures slowly emerged from behind the crystal throne. Humanity? Blue and white snake, you actually dare to fornicate with humans? Seeing this, Nong Dong suddenly stood up in surprise. Nong Dong, look carefully and then talk about it. Facing the threatening aura of Nong Dong, the blue and white snake said in a low voice. From behind the dazzling purple crystal throne, 3 figures slowly appeared. 2 girls and 1 boy. The man stood slightly beside the 2 women, his eyes constantly scanning the surroundings, apparently protecting the 2 women. As for the 2 women who were protected by the man, one was full of emerald green fighting chi, and the other was unconscious. If you said that the blue and white snake called us today just to see these 3 people, then you should be the captain of the Medusa Snake Guard. Nong Dong snorted coldly, break into our snake people without authorization. Death. Then, without waiting for the blue and white snake to make a sound, the figure moved instantly, with a terrifying aura in his hand, and attacked the 3 people on the throne. Nong Dong, why are you so impatient? Just when Nong Dong's palm touched the 3 people above the throne 5 meters away, the blue and white snake moved. The delicate little snake on its face came to life in an instant, and at the same time, the figure of the blue and white snake strangely turned into a green light and disappeared in place. When Du appeared, it had already arrived in front of Mu Feng and the others. With one hand, he directly blocked Fury Winter's terrifying blow, and then said, "It's a mystery." After Nong Dong finished speaking, he directly returned to his crystal seat, because he knew the strength of this blue and white snake, and he would not summon them for no reason. The shot just now was just to test the 2 women. Because Nong Dong seems to feel that the aura of the 2 women is quite similar to their snake link to people www.novelmtl.com. Then I will cut to the chase. After the blue and white snake finished speaking, he stood beside Mu Feng and the 3 of them, and then the little purple snake on its face fell off the blue and white snake's face and slowly came into her hands. Little sister, don't worry, we won't hurt you, we just want to prove one thing. Blue and white snake said with a smile on his face. Yes, Green Flute replied softly, and then slowly handed the woman in her hand to the blue and white snake. The blue and white snake took the woman and nodded to the Green Flute, and the little purple snake in her hand just saw the unconscious woman's first glance, and the snake let her shuddered. Then the next moment, the purple snake in the blue and white snake's hand viciously bit the white jade-like hand of the unconscious woman. Ah! With this bite, the unconscious woman let out a scream of pain. Afterwards, the unconscious woman opened her eyes slightly. One of those eyes was as deep as a human being, while the other was a 4-sided diamond with a strange shape. It's just that the woman's eyes were staring at the little purple snake in the hands of the blue and white snake, and the enchanting square diamond-shaped pupils seemed to exude a different kind of power. This is Ludding Ding San Da Tong. Just when the unconscious woman just woke up and opened her eyes, the other 9 leaders who were present suddenly stood up and said in unison. Because when the girl's pupils opened, a wave of blood was born instantly. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 456. Humph. The woman let out a coquettish cry, and then her eyes turned into an extremely bright purple. The purple eyes exuded extremely demonic power. After the woman's eyes turned purple, the little purple snake in the hands of the blue and white snake seemed to have seen deadly poison, and instantly merged on the blue and white snake's face. Seeing that the purple snake disappeared instantly, the woman felt a little dissatisfied, but she clearly remembered that she seemed to be being auctioned off in the Xuanling royal family, so why did she suddenly come here? Turning her head, she saw Mu Feng and LVDI, and immediately smiled at the 2 of them with a full face, because she could feel that it was these 2 who saved her. After doing all this, the woman turned her head slightly to look at the blue and white snake beside her. Although I don't know why, but the woman could feel an extremely terrifying fluctuation from the stunning woman next to her, as if this woman could kill herself with a single blow. Little sister, what's your name? The blue and white snake slightly put its palm in the woman's hand, and then pulled the woman's cold hand and said, My name is Qing Lin, the woman said tremblingly. Qing Lin, it really is a good name. Blue and white snake smiled and said, Damn it, if there's something wrong, Green Flute, you go first, and I'll stop them. Mu Feng and his party were very embarrassed. Just after separating from Xiao Yan and the others, they entered the territory of the Medusa Clan and were attacked by this blue and white snake. If it wasn't for the fact that the green flute finally revealed that she is also the blood of the snake people, I am afraid that both the green flute and Mu Feng would be instantly killed by the blue and white snake. It's really the 3 flower pupils of the furnace. On the crystal seat, Nong Dong said slowly, but the voice was full of disbelief, and the pupils opened tightly, wishing to devour Qing Lin. 3 flower pupils in the furnace? The 9 leaders of the 9 tribes of the Medusa Clan sat on the crystal seat, and then the 9 eyes were fixed on Qing Lin. Cough, cough. Qing Lin coughed a little, seemingly aware of the unkind eyes of these people. Cough. Seeing this, the blue and white snake also coughed slightly, as if to signal the 9 figures to pay attention to their images. That's what I was doing. Among the 9 strong men, a bald old man said. The old man has a terrifying aura all over his body, and he has the strength of the late 8-star Do Emperor. This old man is the leader of the Power Snake Clan among the 9 major tribes of the Medusa Clan. The Power Snake is the most terrifying existence among the 9 major tribes of the Medusa family. If light competes for pure power, I am afraid that in the same level, the leader of the Force Snake is unmatched. I never imagined that this cauldron with 3 flower pupils actually exists. With this cauldron and 3 flower pupils, I am afraid that our snake people will give birth to a superpower, and then we can completely rely on this *** desert. However, the woman with the bloodline of the 9-colored sky-swallowing python who was sent to the temple by the blue and white snake before, I don't know what's going on now. The secrets in the temple are quite strange. Only those with the bloodline of the swallowing python can enter. Otherwise, with our strength, we can already go in and find out. Xinya 81 Zhang Wian Wang Yu. Kai 8.1 ZS. Koem. I hope that little doll has good luck. If it succeeds, it's not an exaggeration for my snake people to call her the king. Some broken silk words continued to sound. The next moment, the blue and white snake moved, slowly supporting Qing Lin with both hands, and then a strange power flashed in the snake's eyes. Recently, our Medusa family has not been very peaceful. First, the owner with the bloodline of the 9-colored swallowing python appeared inexplicably, and now there is this cauldron with 3 flowers. All of this shows that the time for our snake people to rejuvenate has come. Whether it is to survive or to become stronger, we must all be united. The blue and white snake said slowly, and then raised Qing Yan's little hand slightly. Blue and white snake, what are you doing? Seeing the blue and white snake's actions, Nong Dong's pupils shrank, because such a move might mean something. I announce that Qing Lin has become the saint of my Medusa clan. At the same time, although the green flute is a descendant of snakes and humans, she brought back the 3 flower pupils of the furnace, so she joined my Medusa clan. Mu Feng has become a friend of my Medusa clan. The blue and white snake said slightly. Saint? Hearing this, Green Dibbe, who was always calm, bit her lips. The status of the word saint in the Medusa family is no less than that of an imperial princess. And it still has real power. You can mobilize the power of the Medusa family at will. This is the power of the Holy Maiden. Blue and white snake, I'm afraid your actions are not suitable. When will my Medusa clan turn to you, the captain of the Medusa Snake Guard, to point fingers? Nong Dong said angrily. Humph. Nong Dong. Don't think that I don't know the good things you've done behind your back all these years. The effect of the 3 colored pupils of the furnace on the Medusa family is simply priceless. If you are selfish and want to take it for your own use, then I will be the first to refuse. And as far as I know, as long as Luding Sanwatung cultivates to the level of fighting immortals, he can pass some secret methods to greatly improve our strength, and even the power of blood can evolve. At that time, the bottleneck that is afflicting us will no longer exist. So my Medusa clan will make every effort to cultivate this cauldron with 3 colored pupils and that 3-colored swallowing python. After the blue and white snake finished speaking, a terrifying aura burst forth from its entire body. 5 rank 9-star Do D? Nong Dong's eyes sank, and then he stared at the blue and white snake. Oh, this, the old man agrees. I remember the last time when the 3 flower pupils of the furnace appeared. Our Medusa family was very powerful, so this time the 3 flower eyes of the furnace appeared. I'm afraid it was only when our Medusa family rose. One, the lazy silver-haired old man spoke slowly. Old Snake, this matter still needs to be discussed in the long run. Don't be so hasty, Nong Dong said, with disbelief in his pupils. If even the old snake in front of him agrees with Blue and White Snake's actions, I'm afraid this situation will be extremely unfavorable to him. I agree. Following Old Snake's statement, the other leaders also agreed. Then let's do this first. I'll take her to the temple first, and by the way, see if the 9-colored swallowing python has acquired inheritance. If we obtain the inheritance in the temple, I am afraid that our Medusa family will be able to give birth to a king. After the Blue and White Snake finished speaking, there was some excitement in his pupils. The little doll of the 9-colored swallowing python, don't let us down. Elder Snake opened his mouth slightly, then moved towards the exit. By the way, I feel that our 9 major tribes don't seem to be very peaceful recently. After returning home, we should be more vigilant and don't let our guard down. Once anything happens, we will notify you as soon as possible. After the old man finished speaking, he left the Crystal Palace. As the old snake left, the leaders of the 9 tribes also left one after another. As for the green flute and Mufeng, they followed the Blue and White Snake to the so-called temple. Damn bastard. First it was the 9-colored sky-swallowing python, and now it's the furnace Ding San link to Watong www.novelmtl.com. It seems that it is a little difficult to rule the entire Medusa family. Nong Dong was walking in the desert alone, and then he kept talking. The way. Boy, stop. Suddenly he saw a silhouette of a snake man, and then he spoke directly. Lord Nong Dong, is there something wrong? I hurriedly went to inform Master Blue and White Snake that 2 9-star Do D and 2 8-star Do D strongmen broke into our charming snake tribe, injured our deputy leader, and asked about the location of the temple. I'm afraid something is not going well, said the snake man. After that, he just wanted to leave in a hurry, but he was stunned by Nong Dong's actions. Anyone else to inform other tribes? Nong Dong asked. No, in order to prevent those enemies from attacking, Lord Mei Yi ordered me to notify Lord Blue and White Snake as soon as possible and let her decide. Snake said, then you can die. When Nong Dong heard this, he laughed loudly, and then attacked the snake man with a palm. Sir, you! A mouthful of blood slowly spit out from the corner of the snake man's mouth. He couldn't think of it until he died. Why did this anger want to kill him? 2 9-star fighting emperors and 2 8-star fighting emperors. God really helped me. Pass the secret order to summon someone from the Soul Palace. After Nong Dong finished speaking, the space in the desert on the side wriggled, and an extremely gloomy figure suddenly flickered inside, and then responded softly and disappeared into the desert. Ha ha ha! And Dong smiled, and then slowly walked towards his tribe, some plans slowly forming in his heart. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 457. The sky is slowly getting darker. Although it is a desert, the night is not the same as ordinary land. On the land of an ordinary continent, the night is almost dark, and the temperature will decrease, but in the desert, because the temperature is too high, even at night, the temperature is naturally much higher than that of the land, but the view is the same darkness, which is enough. Get ready, it's almost time. Under the desert, Tang Tang used his strength to probe the surroundings slightly and then spoke slowly. Let's go. I have the protection of my soul power. I really can't do it anymore. Xiao Yan first came to the desert ground, and then Xiao Yan said solemnly. Yes. Mu Yingying and Xiao Yi and the others on the side looked at Xiao Yan, then broke out of the ground, exposed in the desert. The group of people slowly walked towards the towering city wall of dozens of meters. What is that? Above the city wall, the snake guards who were constantly patrolling seemed to have noticed a few light spots where Xiao Yan and the others appeared and disappeared, and immediately opened their mouths slightly. Hey, how about a few drinks after a shift change? I heard that there are some fresh human women just recently. Hee, that taste. Another snake guard next to him said, and the snake guard's eyes were already full of some evil taste. Okay, snake guard responded. Let's go, don't linger, it's almost time for the shift. The excited snake guard pulled another snake guard away. I always feel that something is wrong. Well, forget it, let's go. The vigilant snake guard finally found no abnormality. After changing the shift for another snake man, he left the city wall. Be careful, there is an extremely powerful force hidden in this charming snake tribe, and that force even fears me. Tang Tang and his party just hid their breath and came to the bottom of the city wall. Tang Tang said, "Let's go." Xiao Yan heard the words, and a huge soul force emerged instantly, and then slowly wrapped a group of 7 people. This kid has such a terrifying soul power. The scarred man immediately wrapped himself up when he saw the sticky invisible power in front of him. With the wrapping of Xiao Yan's soul power, Wu Yu can feel that his power has been concealed by Xiao Yan's soul power. And the figure seems to have become extremely transparent. With such an appearance, even if one walks directly into this charming snake tribe, someone who is not as powerful as Xiao Yan will definitely not be able to find it. The next moment, 7 figures instantly flew into the sky, and then slowly moved towards the city wall. The 7 figures slowly lifted into the air, at an extremely slow speed. Although they were already wrapped in Xiao Yan's enormous soul power, they still had to be careful just in case. What a wonderful power! Is this the so-called soul power? Mu Yingying immediately smiled when she saw that the snake guards on patrol did not notice them at all. Strange. How come there is always a sense of unease in my heart? Xiao Yan said slightly in his heart, but then he couldn't care about so much. The movement in the snake tribe, once there is any trouble, Xiao Yan will run away without hesitation. After all, this is the charming snake tribe, and the powerhouses are like clouds. I am afraid that with Xiao Yan and his team, it is still difficult to forcibly break through the charming snake tribe. Through the city wall, the charming snake tribe was brightly lit and very quiet at this time. Some huge buildings appeared in the city, and the city seemed to hide some kind of atmosphere. This method is indeed feasible. Xiao Yan and his party got closer and closer to the city wall, only to realize the horror of the city wall. The city wall presents a square shape, and it is conservatively estimated that the length of the square city is about tens of kilometers. Nearly 10 kilometers of city walls surrounded the city in the center, and Xiao Yan and the others felt a sense of sternness. The buildings of the snake people are quite the same as their pupils. They are all square, but I don't know what it is for. The coyote took a careful look at the huge building in the distance and said, "Since it is the charming snake tribe, it must have something to do with their power. Be careful, don't get lost." Tang Tanbei's lips moved slightly, and then her beautiful eyes kept turning. At this time, Xiao Yan and the others had already arrived at the city wall dozens of meters high. After they came here and the height was below 0, they realized how sensible it was that they didn't force their way in at first. Above the square city wall, there is a signal tower every 500 meters. Under the cover of the towering city wall, the signal tower would not have been found if it was not at a height below 0. Therefore, Xiao Yan and the others secretly rejoiced. If you want to break into the charming snake tribe, there are countless powerhouses in the charming snake tribe alone, not to mention the existence of this signal tower, which can make these powerhouses come at the first time. It's not that easy to leave. Let's go. Xiao Yan held his breath, and the next moment, an even larger soul force emerged, attached to the whole group. Breaking through this heavily guarded city wall is only the first one. Entering the charming snake tribe and crossing through the charming snake tribe is not unusually difficult. Therefore, Xiao Yan did not dare to take it lightly, and did not hesitate to generate a huge soul force. Otherwise, the first city wall guard alone would not be able to break through, and the plan of this trip would only end in failure. Shabu shabu. Hearing the words, the 6 people on the side looked at each other in a deep voice, and then their breaths converged to the extreme. Under the wrapping of Xiao Yan's huge soul power, they quietly stepped into the city wall. Whoo! Xiao Yan stepped onto the rock of the city wall with the first step, and a cold snort came instantly, and then an enchanting snake girl glared at the place where Xiao Yan and the others stepped. Damn it! Is it exposed? The coyote sighed slightly, then his breath just wanted to skyrocket, but he was instantly suppressed by Xiao Yan. Illusion. Maybe I'm too tired. Link to recently www.novelmtl.com. The snake woman stared at the edge of the city wall tightly, and left here after touching it for a few minutes, murmured in the corner of her mouth. Hoo hoo hoo. As the snake girl left, the group of 7 slowly took a breath. It really scared me to death just now, the coyote said in shock. These snake people are extremely disciplined. They will confirm the number of people and exchange information every minute. Once there is any trouble, it will be discovered by them. 1 minute is not enough for us to pass this charming snake tribe. Xiao Yan explained when he saw that the coyote was in danger. Just now, I thanked Brother Xiao Yan, Otherwise, once I started, I'm afraid we would have been exposed to the broad daylight. The coyote looked at Xiao Yan gratefully. Let's go, there's not too much aura here. After all, this is only the edge of the city wall, and the person responsible for guarding the city is vigilant. Xinya 81 Zhang Huiyan Wang Wu, Kai 8, approximately 1 ZS, Coem. But our next step is to traverse the Charming Snake Tribe, and we will inevitably get in touch with the strong men of the Charming Snake Tribe. Remember then, don't fight, Tang Tang said solemnly. After Tang Tang finished speaking, the 6 people around them all looked seriously at the huge city in the depths of the Charming Snake Tribe not far away. They all know that there will be no peace and quiet in the future, and the real moment of life and death has come. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 458. Xiao Yan and his party acted very low-key. After stepping into the city wall, they walked very lightly and at a very slow speed, slowly descending towards the city wall with a height of tens of meters. Although I lost a lot of time along the way, it was fortunate that there was no danger, and it was blocked by Xiao Yan's huge soul power. In addition, most of the patrolling snake guards were only some 3-star duty level strength, and the 4-star duty capital it was a minority, so a few people quickly broke through the first line of defense, came under the city wall, and prepared to face the huge city. This Charming Snake Tribe is worthy of being one of the 9 major tribes of the Medusa Clan. Just this huge city, I'm afraid its area will not be inferior to Xuanling City, Scarface said with some surprise. Because at this time, they had come to the city through the dozens of meters high city wall, but this city is quite strange. After the city wall came in, there was an empty land with a distance of hundreds of meters. The snake people are really smart. Xiao Yan grabbed a handful of dirt on the ground, and then laughed. The soil is black, and at a glance, you can tell that it is not sand in the desert. It's not sand, it's mud. The coyote also found the mud in Xiao Yan's hands, and immediately said in surprise. The tens of meters high city wall of the Charming Snake Tribe should be used to isolate the sand in the desert and the soil in the city. This Charming Snake Tribe is really terrifying. The average person really can't do this kind of means of shifting sand and changing soil. Xiao Yan said, let's go, I feel that I'm getting closer and closer to the goal. After passing through this Charming Snake Tribe, we almost reached our destination. Tang Tang glanced at the huge city not far away, and then said, one thing I have to remind you, although my soul power is strong enough, my own strength is only in the early stage of the 5-star Do Emperor. If I encounter some strong snake people who are stronger than the 7-star Do Emperor, my soul power will be hidden by me. There is nothing to hide, then. Xiao Yan's face sank, and then he spoke. Don't worry, little brother Xiao Yan, and ours. The scarred man put one hand on Xiao Yan's shoulder and smiled. Go! Along the edge of the city, don't try to touch the center of the city, otherwise the risk factor of our trip will increase linearly. Xiao Yan hesitated for a while and then said, yes. All the people around him responded. Xiao Yan's enormous soul power has already won the trust of the Bloodblade Mercenary Group, so the members of the Bloodblade Mercenary Group will not underestimate Xiao Yan in the slightest. Big brother, why do I feel that something is about to move in my body? Xiao Yan and his group moved slowly along the edge of the city wall, and then Xiao Yi stepped forward and said to Xiao Yan, I also have this feeling. The power of flame in my body is rather unsettled, as if something is attracting it. Mu Yingying paused for a while, then her lips moved slightly, her eyes revealing a kind of contemplation. I thought I was the only one. I didn't expect you all to feel it. This is the depths of the desert, and it should almost reach the core area of the lonely desert of death. The lonely desert of death has been called the land of death since ancient times. There are countless treasures, and no one knows what they will encounter, but one thing is certain. Maybe the strangeness we are feeling now is not a bad thing. Xiao Yan said, because Xiao Yi is a fire elf, the power in her body already possesses the fusion power of Xiao Yan's own 23 different fires, so Xiao Yan doesn't care too much about Xiao Yi's abnormality. It's just that Xiao Yan could feel that the holy flame in Mu Yingying's body was definitely stronger than the fusion power of 23 different fires she possessed, but Mu Yingying was always shy about the holy flame in her body. It was not easy for Xiao Yan to ask. Don't worry, there are still ours. Seemingly aware of some of Mu Yingying's worries, Xiao Yan Wenwen patted Mu Yingying with his palm, and then without hesitation, he walked towards the front. Hopefully. But this fluctuation seems to have a smell similar to flame. Could it be holy flame? Mu Yingying slowly followed, muttering in her mouth. Cough cough cough. These little guys. A relieved laughter said slowly. After entering the desert of death, Lao Zu was not at ease. With the performance of Xiao Yan and the others along the way, and the fact that they were now quietly floating into the charming snake tribe, Lao Zu and Xiao Yan were also relieved. Since they have entered the tail of the charming snake tribe, it shouldn't be a big problem if they think about it. Then it's time to get rid of some annoying flies. If you don't want to keep your strength to stop the Xuanling King, and 9-star fighting emperor, 2 8-star Do Di is just to die. Zhu Lao smiled slowly, and then his figure disappeared instantly, heading towards the place where the original Xuanling King and his group disappeared. Xingya 81 Zhang Weian Wang Wu, Kai 8.1 ZS, Koem with the half-immortal strength of Elder Zhu. He had already discovered the 3 who had been following him. Damn it! Then why did the old ghost disappear? Just the moment after the figure of Zhu Lao disappeared strangely, one of the 3 people who followed Zhu Lao asked with a very displeased face. Song Li, be careful, maybe this Zhu Jin has already discovered us. The name of Xuanxin's first battle formation master is not that simple. Among the 3, Lu Quan, who was short in stature, said slowly. 3 sect masters, we are in the desert of death. If we eliminate this bamboo ember, it will be very powerful for our subsequent plans, and this is the desert of death. Even if the Fenxiang Pavilion is angry, it will not help. Yang Wei gloomy, smile. Don't be in a hurry. King Xuanling's group came to this Medusa Clan to fight, and they must have some plans. I think this Zhu Jin also discovered this, so he didn't tear up with us. The short figure Lu Quan laughed. Then Yang Wei wondered. Wait, I want to see what medicine is sold in the Xuanling King's gourd. After Lu Quan finished speaking, his figure flashed and disappeared. The group walked slowly along the edge of the city, and there was nothing unusual. After all, in the city, most of the people living in the periphery were just people with average strength. Those who lived in the center of the city were the existences with terrifying strength. Hey! Xiao Yan walked slowly and suddenly felt an extremely hot wave in his acceptance ring. This is. The next moment, Xiao Yan separated a trace of his soul power to investigate the abnormality in the Na link to ring www.novelmtl.com. Soul power had just entered the Emperor Yan ring, and he was surprised to find that his uncle, the Golden Dragon King, the position of the retreat has long been slowly showing a bright golden color, and then a terrifying fluctuation is constantly brewing. Immediately, in Na Jia, a transparent soul jade slowly floated in the middle of Na Jia. At the same time, an extremely dazzling light was born instantly on the soul jade engraved with the soul power of the 4 people of Zunar-colored scales and ancient Zan Jukan. This is. Qing Lin. Xiao Yan was suddenly shocked. On the soul jade, a lifelike snake shadow was constantly swimming, and then a hot feeling spread throughout Xiao Yan's body. Qing Lin, is that you? Xiao Yan was shocked. Medusa Clan, could it be? Xiao Yan calmed down, then analyzed it carefully, and already had some answers in his heart. Qing Lin, don't worry, I will definitely find you. If someone hurts you, then, the only way is to apologize with death. Xiao Yan's face sank, his soul instantly exited the ring, and then a fierce aura emerged. What's the matter? Mu Yingying felt the most intuitive. Just now Xiao Yan was still calm, but now he is a little emotionally unstable, and his speed has also increased a lot. Let's go. It is estimated that we will break through this charming snake tribe in a while. Tang Tang also discovered Xiao Yan's abnormality, but only spoke to Mu Yingying, and then the group acted vigilantly, watching the situation. It will be a while longer you can break through the charm snake tribe. Ask for tickets. End of this chapter. Continuing from the previous episode 459. At this time, deep in the desert of death, a desolate place. This place is buried by the yellow sand all day long, and it is desolate and uninhabited. The huge desert land seems to be no different at first glance, but if you look closely, you will find that the sand here is different from other places. If you stare at it for a long time, you will find that the sand here actually wriggles. In other words, the sand here is alive. A giant eagle saw that there was a delicious rabbit food on this strange desert, and immediately swooped down, spread its giant claws, and went towards the rabbit food on the sand. Plop! Just when the giant eagle was about to capture this delicious food, the rabbit disappeared instantly. Then the yellow sand suddenly appeared, engulfing the giant eagle. Next, what awaits the giant eagle is death. I saw that the giant eagle was directly swallowed by the strange sand. There is no scum left. This strange sand is so terrifying. At this time, under this 10,000 feet of sand, a huge underground palace stands here. In the underground palace, a shadow slowly appeared. This figure is actually Qing Lin. Since Qing Lin came to the passage of Btth2 continent and separated from Xiaoyan, the four of them, Zuner, Gu Yenjukan, fled towards the passage, but they were separated when they escaped. Qing Lin was directly sent to the Medusa Clan in the Xuanzhen 3 days by the mysterious passage. As for the other Zuner, Qing Lin had no clue, but the only thing that was certain was that their lives were not in danger. Qing Lin broke through in Doqi continent to Dodi and came to Dodi continent. Just after arriving in the territory of the Medusa Clan, her strength suddenly soared to the level of 5-star Dodi, and Qing Lin did not know what it was. The reason, all I know is that it seems to be related to the blood of the 9-colored swallowing python in the body. As soon as he came to Dodi continent, he encountered a terrifying powerhouse of the 9-star Dodi level as powerful as a blue and white snake. Qing Lin had already planned to go all out, but the power of the 9-colored sky swallowing python's bloodline in that body was overwhelming. The blue and white snake of the 9-star Do Emperor level was suppressed, and then the blue and white snake also discovered that this color scale actually had the 9-color swallowing python that only existed in the legend. At first, it ignored the opposition of some leaders of the 9 major tribes in the Medusa Clan, and directly joined forces to send Qing Lin into the temple of the Medusa family. The temple of the Medusa family is the habitat of every strong person with Medusa blood. Rather than the bloodline of the Medusa clan, it would be more appropriate to say that it was the swallowing python. The swallowing python is an ancient beast, and its strength is extremely terrifying. Moreover, only the descendants of Medusa's bloodline can enter the temple of the Medusa family. Otherwise, even a 9-star fighting emperor as powerful as a blue and white snake would not be able to enter. This makes the temple of the Medusa family have many secrets. Outside the underground palace, it was very quiet, and the entire underground palace was tightly closed, as if there was no entrance. It was just like that. A heavy breath from ancient times came from its underground palace. This place is really a strange place. Qing Lin was told some things about Dodi continent by the blue and white snake, and then he was sent to the temple of the Medusa family. According to what the blue and white snake said, there should be inhabitants of Medusa's blood here. Why is there nothing but the statue in front of me? The color scale jade hand emits a faint 9-colored light, and he is always alert to the surroundings. If there is anything wrong, the terrifying power in the hands will be swept out in an instant. It is strange to say that since Qing Lin entered the temple of the Medusa clan, even though he has been here for a long time, in this temple, there is only a statue in front of him, but the space in this temple is extremely high. Huge, nothing else. Qing Lin clearly remembered that when she just came to the temple of the Medusa family, she found that there were many snakes and scorpions in the stone gate. What effect does it have on the color scale? Is this the ancestor of the Medusa family? Qing Lin looked at the behemoth in front of her, unable to hide her surprise. Because the space in the temple is very large, but the most striking thing is the stone statue standing in the center. The stone statue is about tens of meters high, and the hair is split in the shape of a snake and scorpion. There are 10 strands, and each strand is exuding different colors. Even if it is a stone statue, the color scales can feel the terrifying power of the stone statue. And the most peculiar thing is the dead gray pupils on the stone statue. Qing Lin just looked at each other, and a chill appeared spontaneously. Xinya 81 Zhang Huiyan Wang U, Kai 8.1 ZS, Koem, as if the pupils of the stone statue and the 10 colored snakes and scorpion hair draped behind him reveal a wave of destruction. Could it be that the secret of the Medusa family exists in this stone statue? Qing Lin also looked at the stone statue a little, and after finding no result, he sat down with his legs crossed, with 9 colored rays of light constantly floating around his body. At the moment when the 9 colored rays of light appeared on Qing Lin's body, the pupil of the stone statue, which was as calm as dead gray, unexpectedly exuded a hot wave, and then inhaled Qing Lin into it. Damn it! Seeing this, Qing Lin also hurriedly transferred the vindictive energy in her body, trying to resist the suction, but what confuses Qing is that the suction has some original power that is related to Qing's own. The source power seems to be quite the same as the blood in Qing's own body. The blood in Qing's body has already evolved into a 9-colored sky-swallowing python. If Qing can still feel fear in his heart, it is probably the 10-colored sky-swallowing python that only appeared in ancient times. Qing disappeared into the temple, and then came to a rather strange space. The space here is quite peculiar, making Qing feel an involuntary restraint force. The space is dark in color, but in that space, there seems to be a lifelike figure. This figure is strikingly similar to that of the temple. The stone statue in the middle is exactly the same. Who? Seeing this, Qing said coldly, her lips moved slightly. Because even at a short distance, Qing Lin could feel an extremely terrifying fluctuation from the woman. It really surprised me. It's actually a little guy with the bloodline of the 9-colored swallowing python. The next moment, in that dark space, a high cold voice sounded instantly. With the sound of this link to voice www.novelmtl.com, the secrets in Qing's body suddenly disappeared. Hundreds of meters of monstrous snaketail emerged uncontrollably from Qing's body, followed by a terrifying fighting chi full of 9-color energy attached to Qing's body. Damn it! Qing snorted coldly. Although she didn't know why, since she came to this space, there was an extremely huge force on the figure in front of her that was slowly suppressing her. Such oppression comes from the depths of the soul. Or in other words, it came from the bloodline. Where the asterisk are you? Qing said angrily, and then the huge snaketail brought the power of 9 colors to the sky and attacked the mysterious person in front of him. She's really a hot and arrogant woman. The mysterious man smiled slightly, and then behind him, 10 strands of hair of different colors instantly lit up. The next moment, a terrifying energy filled with the power of 10 colors blasted away at Qing's 9-colored 100-jong snake tail. The next moment of shabu, the power of the two merged viciously, but it didn't cause a shocking explosion. What appeared was that the power of the 10 colors slowly solidified the 9-color snake tail of the color scale. 10-colored sky-swallowing python. At the same time, an unbelievable look appeared in Qing's snake pupil. Then he stared at the mysterious woman in front of him and said bitterly, "In this world, is there really a 10-colored swallowing python? Ask for tickets." End of this chapter.